friends, my name is Millie and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be bringing you my November TBR. So in November I kind of had very different reading plans. I was kind of wanting to finish a lot of series, to maybe read some of my 2024 TBR that I have not got around to yet, which is like over half of them. But I have just found out that I am going to be going to a very, very exciting author event in November, and I'm going to be meeting Karen McManus and Jennifer Lynn Barnes. So that's in the middle of November and it is so exciting. I'm very nervous though because I'll be having brunch with them. It's kind of crazy. It's not just me, it's a couple of other booksellers from across the country as well. But yeah, I'm freaking out because obviously they're such big authors. They are authors that I've loved for a very long time, especially Karen McManus, obviously icon. I mean, Jennifer Lynn Barnes is an icon as well, but Karen McManus especially I've, loved since One of Us is Lying very first came out. I read it as soon when that very first came out, so it's kind of a very, very big deal for me. But I do actually have a couple of their books that I haven't read yet, so I'd really like to try and get to those before the event so that I've read all of their backlists before I meet them, because I feel like that's, I don't know, respectful. This November TBR is going to be kind of a mixture of catching up with their backlists and then also just a couple of other books that I want to try and get to, but if I don't then that's fine. I'm purely going to be mood reading this month apart from the Karen McManus and Jennifer Lynn Barnes books, because as you know I participated in Spookoplathon for my October TBR and I've nearly completed it. I have one more book to read tonight. Tonight is Halloween. I'm filming this on Halloween. I have one more book to read and then I've completed my October TBR. So I'm definitely a mood reader and I really struggled in October with wanting to pick up the books that I'd set for myself, to the point where I was changing what books I was reading for which prompts, because I don't work with TBRs. They don't work for me. I need to just pick up whatever I feel like I'm in the mood for. Otherwise, I don't have a very good reading month. So apart from the Karen McManus and Jennifer Lynn Barnes books, I'm purely going to be mood reading. So these are just some books that I feel like I might want to pick up. Who knows? Let's go with the Karen McManus ones first of all. So we have got The Cousins, and this is... I actually have no idea what this one is about. The Story family are the envy of their neighbours, rich, beautiful and glamorous, until it all falls apart. The four children are suddenly dropped by their mother with a single sentence, "You know what you did." They never hear from her again. Years later, when cousins Aubrey, Millie and... Millie? See, this is why I've got to read this one, because it's got my name in it. I mean, it's spelt differently. But Aubrey, Millie and Jonah Story receive a mysterious invitation to spend the summer at their grandmother's resort. They have no choice but to follow their curiosity and meet the woman who's been such an enigma their entire lives. The teenagers are determined to discover the truth, but some secrets are better left alone. That really intrigues me. It's kind of giving me We Were Liars vibes, because that's kind of about some cousins, very rich family, set on an island as well, so it's kind of giving me those vibes, but I'm excited for that one. That sounds really good, and obviously I have to read it if it's got someone with my name in it. And the other Karen McManus book that I want to try and get to is One of Us is Back. This is the third and final book in the One of Us is Lying trilogy. I loved One of Us is Lying, but I didn't love One of Us is Next as much. So hopefully this one will kind of pull the series back for me. In One of Us is Lying, it's kind of like The Breakfast Club. You have a group of teenagers who are in detention, and then you've got them, they're all kind of fitting like a stereotype. So you've got the jock, the nerd, the popular girl, the outcast, and then you have this guy Simon, and Simon ends up dying. He dies of an allergic reaction, and all of the EpiPens, everything is all missing. His own EpiPen is missing, all of that. So you don't know who killed him. It's presumed to be murder. You don't know who killed him, and you're in each of the characters' heads, all of the ones who were in the detention. So you kind of have this whole mystery going on of, is the person that I'm reading from the murderer and I don't know it? You kind of fall in love with the characters as well, and it's a really fascinating mystery. I mean, it goes to show that it is, because it's literally still a bestseller however many years later. And in this one, it's following the same characters as was One of Us is Next, but in this one it is saying that life hasn't been easy for the Bayview crew. First they had to prove they weren't killers, then a new generation had to outwit a vengeful copycat. Now it's beginning again. At first the mysterious billboard seems like a bad joke. Time for a new game, Bayview. But when a member of the crew disappears, it's clear this game just got serious and no one understands the rules. Everyone's a target, and now that someone unexpected has returned to Bayview, things are starting to get deadly. Simon was right about secrets, they all come out in the end. I'm very excited for this. Hopefully I love it. I really want to love it. Okay, and then in terms of Jennifer Lynn Barnes. So Jennifer Lynn Barnes is the author of the Inheritance games. I absolutely loved the first book. I didn't love the second and third ones as much, but I did still really enjoy them. But the first book, The Inheritance Games, is basically there was a billionaire, trillionaire old guy who passed away, and rather than leaving his fortune to any of his family, he left it to this supposedly random girl called Avery. And she had never met the guy, she never met any of the family, she had absolutely no idea. She was just like living in poverty. And so all of a sudden she is an heiress, and she moves into the stipulation for her to be able to inherit the money is that she has to live in his mansion for, I can't remember how long it is. It's like, is it a month or however long? But his grandsons are all living there, his 4 grandsons. And the mansion is kind of like a labyrinth. Like there's all these hidden passageways, there's hidden rooms, there's like all these sort of clues going on. And this old guy used to play all these games with his grandsons and his children of like riddles and stuff to basically just that they were worthy, I guess. He loved a game, basically, this old guy. And it is such a fantastic mystery. Like, I just absolutely loved it. Like, I would not stop going on about it when I first read it. And even though I didn't love the sequels as much, I still absolutely love the series and the characters. So I'm very excited to be reading more in the series. So first of all, we have the Brothers Hawthorne, which is, I think, following the same characters. I'm pretty sure this is the 4th installment in the Inheritance Games series, but rather than being in Avery's head, we're in the heads of 2 of the grandsons. So you've got Grayson and Jameson, and it says that they're drawn into twisted games on the opposite sides of the globe, and with the help of their brothers and Avery, they must dig deep to decide what each of them will sacrifice to win. So I'm intrigued by that one. These ones are so quick and easy to read as well. Like I think I read the second one literally in one sitting. And then I have The Grandest Game, which I'm pretty sure is the start of a new series, but it's like set in the same world. Yes, so it's set in the same world, but it's the start of a new series and following like different characters, even though the characters from the Inheritance Game series are involved, because it is saying 7 tickets, welcome to the Grandest Game, a life-changing competition run by Avery and the 4 infamous Hawthorne brothers. So there's kind of a whole competition going on, and I know that this was to do with like the end of the 3rd book, and I cannot remember what happened at the end of the 3rd book, so I might have to like look up a recap. Is it to do with winning money? I can't remember. I'm intrigued. I am very intrigued, and I just can't wait to meet Jennifer Lynn Barnes and like ask her about her mind basically. And then the final kind of ones I want to read, also about Jennifer Lynn Barnes, is the Naturals series. So I only own the 1st and 3rd books of this series, but I have got the 2nd and 4th one on reserve at work, so I just need to buy them. This is a completely different series, completely new characters. This has basically been described to me as like YA Criminal Minds, and Criminal Minds is one of my favourite shows of all time. Absolutely love it. So anything Criminal Minds vibes I can get my hands on. So this is the Naturals. Cold cases are about to get hot. Cassie is a natural at reading people. Piecing together the tiniest details, she can tell you who you are and what you want. But it's not a skill that she's ever taken seriously until the FBI come knocking. They've begun a classified program that uses exceptional teenagers to crack infamous cold cases, and they need Cassie. What Cassie doesn't realise is that there's more at risk than a few unsolved murders, especially when she's sent to live with a group of teens whose gifts are as unusual as her own. Soon it becomes clear that no one in the Naturals program is what they seem, and when a new killer strikes, danger looms close. Caught in a lethal game of cat and mouse with a killer, the Naturals are going to have to use all of their gifts to survive. And that sounds right up my street. Criminal Minds, YA, Jennifer Lynn Barnes, yes. So I am very excited to read this series. And to be fair, all of these books are going to be so quick to read, so I don't feel like I'll struggle with getting all of them read before the breakfast meet and greet thing. So I'm very excited to read all of those, and they are kind of perfect for this time of year as well. I feel like mysteries, thrillers, they're just perfect for like those cold evenings where you just want to curl up under a blanket and just escape. So I'm very excited for all of those. So in terms of what other books I want to try and get to, I first of all keep seeing the finished copies of this one at work, and I'm just so intrigued. So it is Best Hex Ever by, what's her name? Nadia El Fassi. So the finished copies are absolutely stunning, and I'm just kind of intrigued as to whether I want to buy a finished copy. So this is the proof edition, gorgeous proof edition. It's so shiny. I'm very annoyed that I did not get around to reading it before it came out. But it is a cozy and spicy spellbinding fantasy romance about a kitchen witch cursed to hurt anyone who falls for her, and it's Talia Hibbert meets the very secret society of irregular witches, which is like right up my street because I love Talia Hibbert. I adore the Brown Sisters trilogy, and I introduced Violet to them. She loved them as well, so top tier romances. Very underrated, those books. But also the very secret society of irregular witches by Sangu Mandana is one of my favourite cozy fantasies. It is just so lovely. It's set in Norfolk. It's just gorgeous, very witchy. Oh, I love it. So this one sounds absolutely perfect. Dina spends her days running her cafe in Bloomsbury, trying not to think about the curse that will hurt anyone who falls in love with her. But when she meets museum curator Scott, and the pair are maid of honour and best man at their friend's wedding, sparks begin to fly. Can Dina break the spell before it breaks both their hearts? That sounds so cute. I love the sound of that. I'm very excited for that. And it's kind of like continuing the spooky season into November, which I love to do because spooky season is way too short. Like, October is not long enough to be reading all of these spooky books in. Then I am finally going to be tackling Assassin's Apprentice by Robin Hobb. Maybe. So hopefully I will get to this one this month. I've been wanting to read this for so long. I own nearly all of the books in the Realm of the Eldling series now without even having read the first one, so I really should get to the first one soon. And me and Néia really want to buddy read this one, so hopefully we'll be able to do that this month if we can both fit it into our reading schedules. You should also check out Néia's booktube channel. I'll link it in the description below. And yeah, hopefully we'll be able to get around to reading this one this month. But Assassin's Apprentice is like classic fantasy. This was released in like 1995, so it is older than me, and it's kind of up there with like Game of Thrones, J. Abercrombie, like those classic fantasy books, and I just really feel like I need to get around to reading it. I feel like I'm gonna love them. So this one, the kingdom of the Six Duchies is on the brink of civil war when news breaks that the crown prince has fathered a bastard son and is shamed into abdication. The child's name is Fitz and he is despised. Raised in the castle stables, only the company of the king's fool, the ragged children of the lower city, and his unusual affinity with animals provide Fitz with any comfort. To be useful to the crown, Fitz is trained as an assassin and to use the traditional magic of the Farseer family. But his tutor, allied to another political faction, is determined to discredit, even kill him. Fitz must survive, for he may be destined to save the kingdom. I'm very excited to read this. There's so many books in the Realm of the Eldling series. In the first one, this trilogy, which is the Farseer trilogy, you've got just 3 books, but then you also have a lot of series. You've got the Live Ship Traders, the Tawny Man trilogy, the Rainwild Chronicles, and then is it the Fitz and the Fool trilogy as well? I think there's like 16 books or something in total, so a lot of books to get through in this series. Thankfully the first one is pretty short to kind of introduce yourself to. I've heard it's quite slow paced, but I feel like that's kind of perfect for winter. In winter I just really want to read these slow paced high fantasies I can just lose myself in, and I feel like Assassin's Apprentice is going to be perfect for that. So hopefully I'll end up loving this, and hopefully I will get to read it in November. And then we can rejoice with this next one, especially Néia, because she has been wanting me to read this book literally as long as I've known her, which is a good few years now. So Néia, this one's for you. It's An Ember in the Ashes by Sabaté. I have put this on my yearly TBR both last year and this year, and I've just never gotten around to reading it. I think I'm intimidated because Néia loves this series so much. Like, it is so highly praised by Néia, and I obviously trust Néia's recommendations with my life, but I think I've just been intimidated because I'm just like, what if I don't love it as much as Néia loves it? But I'm sure that I will, because I'm pretty sure everyone who reads this book loves it. Everyone who reads this series loves it. And a new book, but set in this world, has just come out called Air. And I'm pretty sure it's one of the Fairy Loot picks for October. So I really need to get around to reading An Ember in the Ashes. So this one is: under the Martial Empire, defiance is met with death. When Leia's grandparents are brutally murdered and her brother arrested for treason by the Empire, the only people she is left to turn to are the rebels. But in exchange for their help in saving her brother, they demand that Leia spy on the ruthless commandment of Blackcliff, the Empire's greatest military academy. Should she fail, it's more than her brother's freedom at risk. Leia's very life is at stake. There she meets Elias, the Academy's finest soldier, but Elias wants only to be free of the tyranny he's being trained to enforce. He and Leia will soon realise that their destinies are intertwined, and that their choices will change the fate of the Empire itself. And there is actually a quote by Brandon Sanderson on the back of here, which says, "To hear shows us light and darkness, hope in a world of despair, and the human spirit reaching for greatness in difficult times." Which is such high praise, because Brandon Sanderson is obviously one of my favourite authors ever. So I know I'm going to love this. I'm just so intimidated by it. I'm so intimidated. And also I feel like I'm going to cry in this at some point in the series. I feel like it is going to devastate me at some point. I don't feel like Saboteur is someone who's going to hold any punches. So I'm scared, but I'm going to do it. This is going to be the month, Néia. This is going to be the month. And you can hold me to it. And if I don't read it this month, I don't know. I'll have to buy you a book. This is going to be the month that I read An Ember in the Ashes. So I'm excited. And this is the old cover. I got it in a charity shop, I think, for like £1. And all of my other ones don't match this cover, which is annoying. But I do love this original cover. I think it's really cool. So okay, so those are the books that I want to read in November. It's not really a mix of genres, is it? I was going to say it's a mix of genres. It's not. It is all the genres that I normally read: mystery, fantasy, or romance. Why mystery? It's not really any different to what I would normally read, but I feel like I deserve a month of just mood reading and reading what I fancy in that moment, because sticking to a TBR for a whole month was tough, guys. I'm not cut out for it. I love Spookoplathon. It's my favourite readathon, but I'm not cut out for sticking to a TBR for a whole month. So I am purely mood reading. I do need to read the Jennifer Lynn Barnes and Karen McManus books, and I am very, very excited to be meeting them. I will obviously vlog the experience, so keep an eye out for that mid-November. I'm very, very excited to be meeting them and excited for these books. Excited to finally get to some of these ones, especially An Ember in the Ashes. So let me know what is on your November TBR. Are any of these books on your November TBR, or which ones do you think I should prioritise first from mine? And if you've gotten this far, leave a witch emoji in the comments, because it's Halloween, you know, when I'm filming this, not when you see it. It's Halloween. So like this video if you liked it, and subscribe if you wanna. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will see you in another video soon. Bye!